2015, an entire arena exploded with boos. Not applause. Boos. And standing in the middle of that storm was one man. Roman Reigns. WWE had chosen him. The company believed he was the future. But the fans, they rejected him. And what happened next changed wrestling forever. Before the championships, before the tribal chief, before dominance, Roman Reigns was just Joe Anoa'i, a former football player trying to rebuild his life after failure. Football was his first dream. He played at Georgia Tech and even had short stints in professional football. But the NFL dream didn't last. He went undrafted. Teams released him. Doors closed quickly. For many athletes, that's where the story ends. But for Roman Reigns, it was just the beginning. Wrestling wasn't random for him. He came from the legendary Anoa'i family, a dynasty that shaped generations of wrestling history. The pressure was massive. When he debuted in WWE as part of the Shield, something clicked. Power. Intensity. Presence. The Shield dominated. And Roman stood out immediately. He wasn't flashy. He wasn't loud. He was explosive. Fans loved the Shield. They loved the unity. They loved the chaos. But when the group broke apart, everything changed. WWE made a decision. They chose Roman Reigns as the next top star. And that's when the backlash began. Fans felt it was forced. They felt their choice didn't matter. They wanted someone else. And night after night, Roman walked into arenas filled with boos. Imagine being told you're the future, while thousands chant against you. That pressure breaks most people. But Roman didn't quit. He didn't publicly complain. He didn't lash out. He endured. Year after year, the noise followed him. Even when he won the Royal Rumble. Even when he headlined WrestleMania. The louder WWE pushed him, the louder the boos became. And then, life hit harder than any crowd ever could. In 2018, Roman Reigns stood in the ring and revealed something deeply personal. He had leukemia. Not a storyline. Not a script. Real. He had been battling it for years, even during his rise. And now it had returned. That night, the boos stopped. The arena that once rejected him now stood in silence. Because suddenly, it wasn't about wrestling. It was about survival. Roman relinquished the Universal Championship and stepped away. For the first time, there was no pressure to be the chosen one. There was only a man fighting for his life. And here's what makes this story powerful. He came back. Months later, Roman returned, cancer in remission. The crowd erupted. But this time, something was different. The fans weren't booing. They were respecting. Yet even after his return, Roman wasn't fully accepted as the dominant face WWE wanted. Something still felt incomplete. Not connection, the cheers were polite. The reactions were supportive, but the aura, it still wasn't there. Roman Reigns was back, but he wasn't transformed yet. For years, WWE tried to present him as the heroic centerpiece. The smiling champion, the unstoppable good guy. But the crowd never fully believed it. And then 2020 happened. The world changed, wrestling changed. And Roman Reigns disappeared again. When he finally returned at SummerSlam, he didn't come back the same man. No smile, no bright entrance. No forced hero energy. This time, he came back cold. He aligned himself with Paul Heyman. That single move shocked the industry. Because Paul Heyman didn't stand beside heroes, he stood beside power. And that's when Roman said the words that redefined his career. Acknowledge me. Not believe in me. Not support me. Acknowledge me. It wasn't a request, it was a demand. This wasn't the rejected babyface anymore. This was the tribal chief. Roman stopped trying to win love. He chose to command respect. He turned heel, and everything clicked. The slow, calculated promos. The psychological manipulation. The dominance inside the ring. He wasn't fighting for cheers anymore. He was fighting for control. And suddenly, our boos turned into something else. They were not rejection, they were engagement. Fans were not pushing him away, they were leaning in. Every title defense felt massive. Every stare down felt important. Roman Reigns didn't just win matches. He controlled narratives, he unified championships. He held the gold for years. He elevated everyone who stepped into the ring with him. The same crowd that once exploded with boos in 2015 now waited in silence when his music hit. That silence wasn't hatred. It was anticipation, aura. Roman Reigns became untouchable. Not because WWE forced him, but because he evolved. He embraced the hate, he survived illness. He rebuilt himself mentally. And then he reinvented his entire character. That's why this story is not just about wrestling. It's about resilience, get rejected publicly. Failing your first dream. Being pushed when people don't want you. Fighting a life-threatening disease. And still coming back stronger. Roman Reigns didn't change the fans. He changed himself, and when he did, the world followed, from undrafted football player to booed superstar to cancer survivor. To the tribal chief, that's not luck. That's evolution, and if this story proves one thing, it's that sometimes the crowd has to reject you before they're ready to acknowledge you. If you believe resilience creates greatness, if you respect the grind behind the glory, then don't just watch greatness. Acknowledge it. Subscribe now, because this channel tells the stories they can't ignore.